I don't know if this thing is working right, but I wanted to tell this dream that I just had. Alright, so the dream was. Alright, so the dream is that. Okay, so the dream was that I was being hired in to TVA once again. And this is the first time I've had a TVA dream since the last one that I told you guys about. But in this dream, I had a gun, and that's not allowed on a nuclear power plant unless, of course, you're some type of security. And that's what I was. I was some part of some special security force that was being hired in. It was a new security. It was a new security force. It was something new that the company was doing, and I was part of this group that had been hired in for it. Our job was to carry a pistol and to be on site with a pistol. And I had been going through the process of getting the instruction and processing and all of that. But before I really remember anything that happened, the first thing I remember was going through the security checkpoint. And I had this gun. And a person who was there with me, this security officer, the permanent security officer, was there telling me what I was supposed to do in order to get this gun through the checkpoint. I had to unload it at a certain time, and I was supposed to load it back at a certain time, and do this and do that to get through the security checkpoint. But I was making a ton of mistakes, ton of mistakes, and for some reason, the guy pointed out my shoes, and he was like, "You're gonna get some new shoes, aren't you?" Because the shoes that I had on was way too big for me. Big enough, they were dress shoes, hard bottom dress shoes, but they were big enough to fall off my feet. And he said, "You're gonna get some new shoes, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is the first day," as if to say, "Yeah, as soon as I get some money, I'm gonna get me some new shoes." And so I got through the one portion of the checkpoint where the guy was talking about the gun, and I was going through another part of the checkpoint where all of my bags and other bags and stuff was being um like they do, and I was right there at the end, um was watching me um put all of my bags back together. And the thing about it, somehow I hadn't loaded my gun back the way I was supposed to, and I pulled out my bullets and started loading up with the gun, and she was like, "You supposed to do that back there." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm making mistakes. I know." Thing about it, the bullets supposed to go in this pistol was huge, huge, big bullets, like bigger than 30-06 rifle bullets. And I was noticing they were um, this handgun. It was like a Glock handgun, but the bullets were huge. It wasn't 40 bullets. It was big, long bullets. And so I was still making mistakes and all of this, and loading up my bags. The bags I had were like military duffel bags and rucksacks, and so kind of a bunch of them, but I was putting them all together to where I could actually haul them because I had to go to the engineering department, and I didn't know where it was. It was my first time at this site. And I recognized one guy, um, and I called out to him. His name was Paul. And I said, "Hey, Paul, where's the engineering building?" And he said, "Well, I'm in construction, but the engineering building is almost walking distance." And I said, almost walking distance. And he said, yeah, most people prefer to get a ride down there. So I going outside thinking I'm going to have to find a ride. And so I said, I'll deal with it when I get outside. So I finished putting together all of my bags, making sure I had all of my stuff. I had a bunch of stuff carrying into the site. And I was double checking to make sure I wasn't losing anything or leaving anything. And so when I stepped out of the door to security checkpoint, first thing I noticed was that I was in an urban time kind of environment with a whole lot of people walking around. I was surprised by the amount of people that were there. It was like a city environment and like a downtown city environment on a Friday night, springtime Friday night where everybody was out walking around here and there, thousands and thousands of people walking in every direction. And whereas I should have been trying to find how to get where I was going, I was simply amazed by all of these people walking around in this urban kind of environment. And I was sitting there thinking, man, I wish I could pull out my phone and take a picture of this because I wanted to send it to my wife. I wanted to send it to Stacy. And there I was just looking at all these people. And that's when I woke up. That's when the dream ended.
What I was saying is that a lot of your, a lot of, well, I know at least one of your dreams, and I want to have been where you've been in a setting with a lot of people.
I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm. Seeing a lot of people. I think one had to do with an apartment or something. Kept going back. You had a couple of dreams about you being in an apartment, but I think before you had got to the apartment, you was in like the midst of a lot of people or something. We have to go over that dream again. I think it was recorded too. But one of the unique things about it is that you were on a new site, right?
Yeah, this was a brand new place I had never heard of before. The other sites I felt familiar with and comfortable with. Um, Even though, in some of the other dreams I struggled during the checkpoints. I think that what the last dream you was going through the checkpoint before I did.
Yeah, all these dreams have one common thing. Well, not well, two. They being at TVA, but the checkpoint is always a major thing in all the dreams.
Yeah,
I
almost
wonder
all of
what
them.
that represents.
Yeah, one time, even going back to the dream that I had that made me start making videos again, where I'm making the announcement over the radio and um, everybody rushed through. Yeah, it was that checkpoint. It was had identification was the main thing on that checkpoint because I didn't have an ID card. No, I wasn't supposed to have an ID card. I ended up pulling out one of my old ID cards and it
Right.
worked. Yeah, I pulled out my old ID card, and that to me represented like TVA. I mean, it represented like YouTube, where I had went into my old YouTube account and started making videos again.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, it had nothing to do with ID cards. It was all about this pistol. It's all about this gun. Somehow, I'm sitting there. Somehow, I did something to where we, as a group, had lost our pistols.
Who?
All of us. The whole security force had lost them. I felt like we had lost them.
Something
Like,
personal?
like I had did something personally to where the entire force had been relieved of our guns.
Mm-hmm.
But I had the gun at the checkpoint, so that's a little bit confusing. Now, when we got through the checkpoint, I was talking to somebody else who kind of knew what I was there for, and we were were talking about what we were supposed to do with these guns. It was our responsibility with these guns, and I can't remember a conversation, but I remember something like it was my job that if somebody came through that I was supposed to unload on them. That's what I was there for. I was supposed to, my job was, if somebody ran up in the environment, I guess it would have been the engineering building. Then, you know, I don't know why they had to have some type of special security force, but my job was to bust off on them when they came through. And like I said, it was some type of new thing they were doing. And we all had pistols. And so we was going to be sitting in the engineering department where I was. I guess it would have been people all over the plant doing the same thing. But I was gonna be in the engineering department obviously. And so, but my job wasn't to do engineering work. My job was to hold this pistol and be ready in case something came through. Big old pistol.
Well, we know that in the military, we wasn't allowed to call it a gun. We was allowed to call it a weapon.
Oh Lord, dang! Thank you for the chastisement.
I'm saying, in scripture, the word weapon is always used.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'm trying to piece it together. I just want to give that information to the people who will be trying to, who will
Figure
be
it out.
trying to figure it out. Yeah. Also, this person that you saw, Paul, when you were actually working in TVA, what was his job?
He was in maintenance.
He was in maintenance.
He was a maintenance manager type. Yeah. I was an engineer. I was an engineering manager type, and lower level managers, and he was a maintenance manager.
Okay.
But he said, I'm in construction.
So, were there any? I know you. I'm gonna ask about the clothing. I know you said you had shoes that were too big for you. Could be a metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoes on. Are you able to feel these shoes?
No, I wasn't able to. He was afraid they were gonna fall off, and I knew they were gonna fall off if I did something. It's like we were thinking that I would have to do that. Like if I tried to kick somebody or if I tried to do something, them shoes was gonna come off.
So your shoes are too big for you. What else about your clothing? What's that?
I don't remember much about the clothing except they were kind of dark. They might have been black pants or something like that. The bags and stuff were OD green, army bags, army kind of military bags, and it was just a bunch of. I was just so unorganized and first day kind of dude. Everybody would have known, yeah, he's a newbie because I was just making all kinds of mistakes, fumbling around.
So I think one of the significant things is that you were you were at a nuclear power plant with a weapon.
Yeah, I mean, when I got outside the gates, it didn't look like a nuclear power plant. It didn't look like a nuclear power plant at all. I was completely shocked of, what it looked like outside the store. You know, I don't know, can't describe it. All I could think of, downtown, urban area, downtown New York, all these people walking around in different directions, just everywhere. And I was just amazed seeing all of the people that was there. I was just,
so wow, was there anything different about the people, or it's just people?
Yeah, it was just people, and they all had somewhere to go, and they were getting there pretty quick. All walking fast. I don't remember any cars or anything. I was standing on the side, like as if I was waiting on a bus or something to come by, and I was just looking at all these people going here and there and there and here and everywhere.
So when you were thinking about, should I take my camera, should I take a picture of it, did you have the knowledge that, no, I can't use my camera? Or
that was the only thing that prevented me was the second commandment. I couldn't really pull my camera out and point it at people and take a picture. because of the second commandment. But I was sitting there thinking, wow, I wish my wife saw this.
So, remember in the book, in the movie Matrix, when Neo was standing in the middle of the people and the people just walking by?
Mm-hmm.
Was it something like that with all the people?
Yeah, that's about how many people it was, except for I was at a corner. I was at the corner, so like you um see people going in, I want to say four different directions. It seemed like only three different directions, but I want to say, but it's probably four different directions. Like I was standing at the corner, and so there was people going everywhere. People going this way, that way, that way, that way, coming and going. So yeah, it would have been like that with all of those people, except for I was standing at the corner of the street.
So you think it has? What do you think? Have you been thinking about it? Because you
Nah,
woke
it's
me
just
up, and you seem like you've been up a minute or two.
yeah, exactly a minute or two, and I was just sitting there thinking, I don't want to forget this. And then when you start moving around, I took the opportunity. Go ahead.
Wake me up.
I think you was already awake.
I don't think so.
You was moving, so
Oh my goodness, I moved all night.
yeah. You look like it was wake, so I didn't want to forget it. So I jumped in. Tell you, 3 o'clock in the morning on April the 9th. 3 o'clock in the morning on April the 19th. Well, man, I believe that's it. Can't remember anything else. Big shoes, big bullets, big bags, big city environment.
Just yesterday I was saying how because you actually worked all day yesterday, from breakfast all the way, and when I went to bed, you were still up working, and I just made a mental note of how you're, um, for one, how much you're working that day, and two, because you do usually work all day, but you usually take long periods of breaks.
Yeah, I take a lot of breaks.
But I was just noticing how you were constantly working and how your videos seem to be improving. There's a lot more information that's being downloaded to you, and you're putting them in a way that's more understandable.
Oh Lord. Thanks for the bold criticism, but thanks for the feedback.
Wow, you woke me up.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna let her go back to sleep. Shalom.